Howdy, howdy, listeners. This is your host, Random Nerd, on the Critical Thinking Nerd podcast. This episode is part 3 of episode 2 in the Positive Masculinity series. In the main episode, we talked about how partnership and how stoicism can turn men away from the quote-unquote battle of the sexes mindset and toward cooperation. In this follow-up, the focus zooms in on two things that shape how men actually live that out: loneliness and brotherhood, and justice and compassion as masculine virtues. The quiet epidemic, male loneliness. A lot of men are surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. They might have coworkers, online friends, or even a partner, but no one who really knows what is going on inside their mind and soul. Stoicism doesn't promise to remove loneliness, but it gives men tools to face it without letting it hollow them out. It trains a man to become comfortable with his own thoughts instead of needing constant distraction or validation. It calls him to build a life based on virtue, not just on being liked, desired, or entertained. Here's some questions to reflect on. When was the last time you told the truth about how you're really doing to another man you trust? And I want to include a personal story. A male co-worker of mine I have known for a few years. We have known each other through work and have shared life events here and there. Your normal work stories. But more recently, we have shared more in-depth personal life experiences. A coworker I see as an equal on a work level and on a personal level, a true brotherhood of men. And even more, a second coworker has opened up to joining as well. This isn't I trust you because we know each other, work-wise. This personal level is built on deep trust and a genuine I'm here for you. For my male listeners, it's that bro you share everything with. You know what I'm talking about. It's that ride or die friend. And a second question, if all your screens disappeared for a week, how many actual in-person or voice-to-voice relationships would you really have? These are the kind of questions that expose whether loneliness is just circumstantial or whether it has become a habit. Stoic practices for healthy bonds without losing yourself. Stoicism helps men build deeper bonds without dissolving their identity into other people. The key idea: stay rooted in your principles, not in other people's approval. Some practical Stoic aligned moves you can walk through in the episode. Daily self-examination, self-reflection. At the end of the day, ask, where did I act in line with my values today? Where did I betray them? That keeps you grounded in who you are, even as you open up to others. Intentional vulnerability, not emotional dumping. Share honestly with a friend or brother about what you're facing, but frame it around responsibility and growth, not just venting. For example, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I did wrong. Here's what I'm trying to change. Boundaries that protect, not isolate. Stoicism doesn't tell you to let everyone in. It tells you to choose wisely who you give access to your inner world, and then show up for those people with loyalty and consistency. Here's a challenge for my male listeners. This next week, or even just this month, reach out to one man you respect and ask him to grab a coffee, a call, or a walk, or even just to sit down. Not to talk about sports or politics, but to talk about how life actually is going. If that feels terrifying, that probably tells you how much it's needed. Justice and compassion as masculine virtues. Culture often paints quote-unquote masculine as raw force and quote-unquote compassion as soft or feminine. Stoicism flips that. A man who is fully committed to justice and compassion is one of the most dangerous forces for good in a community. In the Stoic frame, justice means giving people what they are due: fairness, honesty, reliability, and protection from harm. Compassion means recognizing shared humanity, understanding weakness, and responding with strength that aims to heal rather than humiliate. How that plays out in different spheres. In love, justice means fidelity, honesty, and not using your partner as an emotional or physical convenience. Compassion means listening, being patient, and caring about how your choices land on her heart, not just your ego. In family, justice means showing up, providing, disciplining fairly, and not playing favorites. Compassion means remembering that kids and spouses are human and will fail, and that correction should build them, not break them. In friendship, justice means not betraying confidences, not using friends for status or favors. Compassion means being there when they're at their worst, not just when they're fun. In community, justice means standing against abuse, exploitation, and corruption, even when it costs you. Compassion means seeing the broken, poor, or socially outcast as neighbors, not just background NPCs. Here's the challenge. If someone audited your life for a week, would they say you are more committed to comfort or to justice? Where in your world there is a wrong you see clearly, but avoid confronting because it would be inconvenient for you? The link: why justice and compassion kill isolation. Loneliness and justice might sound like separate topics, but they're deeply connected. When a man lives only for himself, he may feel quote unquote free, but he will eventually feel empty. Purpose pulls a man out of himself and into connection. Stoic positive masculinity says, when you start caring about justice, you naturally get drawn into the lives of others: family, friends, neighbors, coworkers. When compassion grows, you stop seeing people as threats or props and start seeing them as souls. That shift alone begins to shatter isolation. Here's one way to frame it. If you feel alone, ask yourself this: where am I avoiding responsibility? Because often, the more you step into responsibility, protecting, providing, mentoring, serving, the more real relationships form around that shared mission. Here's some questions for you to think over. Who in your life needs your justice right now? Your fairness, your honesty, your follow through? Who in your life needs your compassion, your patience, your listening, your willingness to forgive or to understand? If you started practicing both every day, what would it do to your loneliness 6 months from now? To tie it all together, this episode is about saying that a good man is not just strong, in a vacuum. He is strong for something and for someone. Stoic practices help men become rooted enough inside that they can reach out, connect, and take on responsibility without disappearing into people pleasing or losing who they are. In upcoming episodes, we'll keep exploring how this plays out in brotherhood, fatherhood, work, and faith, so that men are not only less lonely, but also more dangerous to the things that are tearing homes, communities, and souls apart. So stay reflective, stay grounded, and remember, loneliness shrinks when your life stops being only about you and starts being about justice, compassion, and the people you're called to show up for truth, transparency, and fairness. If you found this episode meaningful, please continue to listen to my next episode as I dive deeper and research further to share my knowledge with you. Thank you.